Hello everyone and welcome to one of the very few videos I have on my channel. I have decided to do a tour of my Minecraft world that I've had since the days of Xbox 360 edition. Please excuse the noise. I have a fan going in the background because it's very warm here, and I have my stream going on another device just to make sure that everything is running properly. So, this world originated as a survival world, and this is the house it started in. It has mostly all the same stuff from the survival world. I didn't delete any of it, change anything. All the stuff is still here, except for the command block. That's the only thing that shouldn't exist here. Down here, of course I changed the floor to different ores. There's nothing inside the chests. Can't remember what was behind that fence at one point. This was the mine. Whenever I first made this world and I was digging down in here to find materials, once I got to this point I fell into lava and died, lost basically everything. But I ended up finding this place, which I tried to make better. I have bridges over lava gaps, some stairs just to make things a bit more accessible. We're gonna go back up the stairs. Now, I'm not the only person that's made things in this world. So as we walk out, you can see there's quite a number of things here. Also, I want to excuse my birds that are making a lot of noise in the background. I have 2 parakeets. We'll just start right up here. So as you come outside, you go up the ladders quite a long ways. And then there's a snowflake house. It's just named that because of the way it's shaped. Originally I had like a ladder that would take you all the way up, but that takes way too long, so I figured out how to use command blocks a while back. And now you just teleport your way in. Alright. This is my current house. I'm kind of a geek slash nerd of sorts, so I have like the Marvel Cinematic Universe and whatnot written down in lecterns. I'm not going to go through it. Probably just a waste of my time, but I feel like adding it in anyways. Each of these rooms are equipped with what is needed for normal survival stuff. Going back down here, I'm just gonna fall, because why not? Falling's fun. We'll follow the path over this way to the first nether tower. This was made by one of my friends that I am no longer in contact with. For the most part, we still chat occasionally on Instagram, but that's about it. It's pretty neat. It's pretty empty on the inside, except for the basement. I have a neat little nether portal build down here. Kind of makes it look like the nether's seeping through to the overworld. Hello, Noah. We're gonna go down the path. Over here is one of the first other buildings that was made in this world. It was originally going to be the new remodeled house from the one up in the mountain. I've renovated it into more of like a villager meeting center, I guess. Just kind of a big empty space with some iron doors. There's an empty room up here. There's There's a little staircase leads down into another empty room. These iron doors lead into the underground village, because a lot of this ground I made my stuff on was not natural land formation. I had to do some terraforming, just kind of flatten the ground over it. And since instead of just making this space a big, empty, dark area, I decided to turn it into a village. Entirely from scratch. Got animals. Kind of got a little ventilation thing, so some fresh air does get down here. Fear me, villagers! Yeah, there's several ways. They can't get in or out. These are the underground villagers. I do have my aquarium here, which is using barrier blocks to keep the water in place. Which has all my turtles, fish, and all. And the separate one off to the side is for the hostile underwater mobs like Drown and Guardians. It'll fly up again. This is the town center area. It was originally used for holidays, where around each holiday I'd build a small little thing to celebrate it. And the reason why it's black and gold is because it was for New Year's. I never changed it since then. I used to decorate the Enderman statue back there in the background for each holiday, but that was a pain, having to design a new outfit for every holiday. This is my grocery store. I have an ice machine out front. You walk inside, you got your fruits and vegetables here, and your sweets. You got your miscellaneous stuff, your fish, and your meat. And because I also have the education edition equipped, you got salt and you got water. This side you have a farmer. This side you have a butcher. Makes sense. Over here we have the stonemason's hut. You can buy all your different stone types, bricks, whatever. Not really doing like a really big in-depth review of everything because that would take way too long. It's probably already going to take an hour to get all this in. This is the blacksmith shop where you have your leather worker, the toolsmith, weaponsmith, and the armorer. This is one of the many villager apartment buildings I have. It almost looks prison-like, but it has good intentions. Sure, the living spaces may be small, just a workspace and a bed, but at least they have accommodations. Over here is the throne room, which is the only castle-like structure here. Well, I say only quote-unquote castle-like. It's the only castle room in this world, which is, I guess, good. I mean, an empire doesn't really have a king, but I make my own rules. Down this path, we have the pet house. It used to be smaller, but I have done renovations to it. This bottom floor is for wolves or dogs. The second floor is for cats. And then the top floor is for parrots. You can go back down the steps. I gotta keep each floor separated from each other using the fences, or else some animals will attack the others. I got villager spawners around the place just to make sure that this place always seems populated. This building is the overall crafting building. So if you need to make anything, just come here. This is the crafting room. This over here is the smelting room, furnace room. This is your smithing room. This is the enchantment room. Upstairs is the science room with all the education edition stuff. Both sides. Over here, up over this bridge, this building that's connected to it was made by Cam the Alpha Wolf, or Cameron, part of the LES team. This is one of his office buildings. This is your main boardroom. Go up the water elevator. And then each of these is like a different office. Back down. I'm just gonna skip over this real quick. This building here is another building made by Cameron. This is the firehouse headquarters, which there's a lot of ladders and water buckets in here. The quartz pillars along the wall is kind of supposed to resemble a garage door where your fire truck would leave from. Got a bathroom, got a toilet. Fun stuff. Pretty spacious. Down this way we have a small little dock where you can go off in your boats and just kind of explore. You can get a glimpse of the lighthouse in the distance. We'll follow the path a bit longer. Up over here, I'm going to break away from the path. Over here we have the giant cauldron, which is my potion building, my potions shop. Kind of have like floating glowstone. You have your enchantment tables, your brewing stands, your magic shop. Come buy your Hogwarts supplies here. The update that originally brought in glazed terracotta and concrete gave me stuff to build with, I guess. Obviously every Minecraft update gives you stuff to build with, but I didn't really know what to do with it, so I made this box. And I turned it into a restaurant. You have the cashier's area along with kitchen built in. You have 3 tables. I could see up to 4 people at each. You go back some. I'm not even going to bother with this underground bit. There's nothing down there, just some glowstone torches. This here is made by another friend of mine that I rarely speak to anymore. But this is the battle arena, where we can just fight it out with each other, and whoever gets knocked down into the pit first loses. And I'm not going to fall down there because I don't really feel like putting a flashing lights warning at the beginning. Call me lazy, but I would just rather not go through the hassle. In each of these is some enchantment room, so you can enchant your armor and tools. Up this little staircase is supposed to be like a viewing platform for whoever's not participating. Down here is my Hobbit house because I'm a fan of Middle-earth. So, we got a bedroom, storage, kitchen. Pretty simple. One time I was bored and had no idea what I was going to build, so I asked my mom what I should build, because why not? And she told me to build a candle. So I built a giant candle on a floating island. And I turned it into a village house, so I have 2 villagers that live up here. Flying back down. Over here we have my underwater tower, which is also being held in with barrier blocks. I'm not going to go inside because it's kind of hard to see. And plus there's really nothing on the inside except for one thing. I guess I'll go inside, why not? In here, the one thing that's in here is SpongeBob. Because SpongeBob's is awesome. This giant iron anchor that's just going high up into the air is from my flying airship, because I like steampunk stuff and flying airships seem steampunkish. It's one of my older builds in this world. Got steering, got chests where you put your loot, got a crow's nest up there, got some barrels. Down here is where the crew would sleep. You got cannons. Great stuff. Moving on. We're going to go past all this to over here. This is the ice tower. I have redone this recently. Well, maybe not too recently, like last year. It looked pretty basic. I completely tore it down, rebuilt it, and I'm proud of how it turned out. There's not really any other snow block types, so I had to use quartz instead, and I think it turned out quite well. Alongside it is my end building, which I used a command block to be able to get my end portal block. That's how it's kind of framed on the inside around the outer edge. You have to do like a little bit of parkour to get up to it. Off to this side is Cameron's house. It's a very modern house. He likes the modern aesthetic. It's pretty empty on the inside. Got Cameron's bedroom. Right next door is Cameron's apartment. Not apartment. Yeah, this is the apartment building. Where each room is pretty much identical. So you got like a shulker box, some beds, smoker. Then downstairs you have like a little dining area. Kitchen dining area, the main desk and whatnot. Down the path here is a bank that was made by the Legend 01, or Noah, another member of the LAS team. First bank of overworlds. Obviously, because at one point I accidentally used the kill all command when I didn't mean to. There used to be tellers here, but they died. No. One flaw this bank has is here's the vault that all the money and stuff's supposed to be held in. And over here, is the vault key. Not very protected. Right next door to that is an unfinished build by Cameron. He's supposed to be making a shopping mall here, which I'm looking forward to seeing how it turns out in the end. I'm going to do a little bit of backtracking before we get to some of the other stuff that's over there, just to visit this building here, which was originally supposed to be the town hall, which it still is. It kind of looks like a church, but it isn't. Although there is a secret room down here. It serves no purpose, but it looks pretty cool. You go up all these steps here to the glass shop. This is where you get all your glass, both the regular Minecraft glass, and upstairs you have the hardened glass from the Education Edition. Outside is the statues of my two favorite mobs in all of Minecraft, the Enderman and the Phantom. And I gotta tell you, to build a Phantom as a giant statue is really hard to get the actual mob to sit still long enough to copy it, because I was too stubborn to just look at a picture. Okay, back over here, you know, just across this little bridge. This giant bridge, this amazing looking bridge, is connected to Noah's treehouse, which also looks really good. I wish I could build tree houses this good. We got Fezbot here, kind of blocking off Noah's beacon. Up top he has his firework dispensers in case of celebration. Down here is a lava pool surrounded by black stone and a strider spawner. You see there's two little baby striders walking around. Got a little public garden. Got some bees pollinating things. Right next to it is a cemetery with real ghosts. If we can get a Vex to spawn, that'd be cool. There's one. There's a mausoleum in the back. Got some brown beds try to kind of resemble coffins. These two are two more villager apartment buildings. They look the exact same as the one across the river. We have an unfinished house that I was working on, which I have kind of lost my muse of building it, but I may pick it up again at some point in the future. This here is my giant nature tower, where each story is made of a different type of wood that was introduced to the game. I have yet to add the warped stem and the crimson stem to it. I may add that underground. But up at the very top of this is a small garden area with like a little water feature and a garden. I tried to have a farmer villager up here at one point, but like I said, kill command didn't turn out very well. Down off to the side of this is a giant beehive, which I had a farmer over here that was supposed to be selling bee-related goods like honeycomb and honey bottles. There used to be flowers in these flower boxes, but I think I tore those down at one point. So we're gonna just fly over this direction. To the lab. Obviously, this idea came from the Diamond Minecart and his lab that most of his videos came from. But I just like having a lab in Minecraft ever since then. I kind of use this giant mega beacon here as kind of like a quote-unquote power source of the world. Got a flag as I have conquered this land. Go up these steps out this direction. We have a floating island up here with another Fezbot. He's just been stranded up here. This diamond house was made back in the old Xbox 360 edition by another one of my friends that I could say I do no longer talk to, but I wish them well. Over here, this odd yet amazing building is the house of MC Nightmare SB, or Jared, another key member of the LES team. He made the base structure, and then I asked him if I could kind of mess with it a bit, and this is its final form. And we both agreed that it looks pretty good. We're going to follow the path back this direction. This way. To a snow globe made by Noah. Sadly, the armor stand they had in there that looked like Steve was destroyed whenever I used the kill all command because it kills all entities. And armor stands are entities. This is a village I made entirely from scratch. Before the Village and Pillage update came out, I would just wanted to be prepared for it. It started off with this little building, which was for the butcher and the fisherman. The one up on the hill behind it is the Fletcher's building, where you can buy your bows and arrows, as well as it has a shooting range in the back. Over here we have the smithing building for your toolsmith, armor, and weaponsmith, and I think leatherworker as well. You got the library, where you have the librarian and the cartographer. You have the church building for the cleric. You have the butcher's shop. So over here you have the leatherworker, the shepherd, and the butcher. And the final house back here in the back is for the farmers. So you have the shepherd, the farmer, the butcher, I believe. Yeah, and I guess a cleric. They have a massive garden out here because they have to feed the entire village. Although the road does continue on a really strange zigzag pattern out that way, it only leads to one of the original Minecraft villages, which was also cut off by world generation when transferring, because it went from a 360 world to an Xbox One world to a Bedrock world. So it just kept on getting cut and cut and cut. Before we head across the ocean in this direction, I'm going to turn back behind the giant candle. That eventually I'm going to make a path out this way. First, here's a volcano I made by blowing a hole in a mountain. So that's easy to do. Back here, this giant bridge is made by me, but the building on the island was made by Cameron, and it's Seclusion Tower. If you want to go somewhere to be alone and ignore everybody, come here. Your only friends are armor stands. There is something I forgot to show that I just got reminded of. If I go back over this way, and then we go towards the ocean. Well, actually, since we're here, I didn't actually show off this part. This is my entirely man-made beach. The water used to come up to at least like right in here, so I had to do some terraforming to extend the water. I mean, extend the sand. Bleh. I'm using barrier blocks to hold all these villagers in place to make the beach look lively. So we got a volleyball game in progress. We got people sitting at the sandbar enjoying food and whatnot. Sandcastle. People sunbathing. We got a few people around a campfire over here. But off in this direction, we have a small, almost castle-looking build, but it isn't. This is a work-in-progress build by Noah. He's building a prison, and kind of as a small prank, he's already seen it before, but I put some dancing armor stands in here, and I called it the Prison Shuffle. When they saw it, I wasn't around, sadly, but I've heard they cracked up laughing at it. Over here, we got a small little raft. These guys were mutinied upon by the pirate ship here. They were kicked off. Here's the overpopulated pirate ship with real working cannons. Too many villagers to count. Over here you got like your smithing area where they craft their weapons. On the opposite side is their kitchen, whatever. They have the brig where they hold their prisoners. And then we have where the crew sleeps. Back here, this is the captain's quarters, where you got a bed, enchantment table, all sorts of things. Up top, you got your steering and whatnot. Sails, you got a crow's nest, you got the pirate flag. Pretty proud of how that turned out. Behind it is the lighthouse. It's completely empty on the inside, so I'm not going to show you from the inside. I made the rocks surrounding it where it actually have something level to sit on. And since there's no light beams that could be shown outwards, I used beacons and yellow stained glass to kind of point it up in the air. And actually, as part of this build, I have the original old stonecutter block. Underneath the pirate ship, down in the depths of the ocean, we have a withered away, kind of eroded prismarine skull, which, if you swim into its mouth and into the back of it, there's a hole where there's a conduit on the inside. It's kind of like the curse of the ocean. Whoever falls into the water is cursed to walk the seabed for the rest of eternity. Down there is just another little conduit thing that I wanted to experiment with whenever the Update Aquatic was originally released. With, if we go down here, there is a secret room. It's empty, but it still exists here. Over on this side, we have another house made by a good friend of mine that we rarely speak anymore. I don't know why there's a villager inside, but I extended the bridge out this way. I had the same color scheme. Which goes over here to connect to the other part of the mainland. The first building to be made over here was the house on the hill, which has a long winding road to get up to it, which originally had 2 villagers in it, but I think they wandered down the mountain somewhere. Walk inside, it's pretty cozy. You got a little fireplace. When you walk upstairs, you got the beds. Now if we walk down the mountain, we're just gonna fall down the mountain, more like it. We have the fourth villager apartment, which is end themed, which looks the same as the rest, just with different blocks. And we have the 5th apartment building over here, which is ocean themed, which is why instead of towering up, it goes down into the water. Which this one does have an underwater feature, a glass dome thing, where the villagers spawn in down there and they walk up into the apartment. This is Nether Tower 2.0. When we got all the new nether blocks in the nether update, gave me huge inspiration, and I created this, which I am very proud of. I like the way the design turned out. The only thing on the inside is a nether portal up at the very top to try to resemble the nether portal ruins you can now find generated around the world. But each of the 4 spires on the top are to represent the 4 new biomes in the nether. So you have the Soul Sand Valley, the Warped Forest, the Crimson Forest, and the Basalt Delta. And around it I have kind of small indications as to which biome is which. So you have the warped trees and the crimson trees and the fossils for each of the things. A really spooky looking entryway with the hanging lanterns. There is one more place that I have to show that's back in the main land, which is a hidden nether portal area. If we go back over here by the wooden staircase that leads up to the ice tower, there's a small little pathway that leads off to the side to this little trap door. And if you climb down the vine, you have a small nether portal. I'm gonna climb back up. We're gonna head back inside the original survival house to finish off the video. That, my friends, is the entirety of my creative empire so far. There are still builds to come, and if you have ideas or suggestions on how to improve this, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear some feedback. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for upcoming videos, and I will see you all in the next one.